My talk is titled The Brain-Bone Nexus Implications for Osteoporosis. So let me go ahead and share the slides. So even though the Ayurveda textbooks refer to the majja as the bone marrow, majja actually means cavity. It means sinking. It means encased in. So majja not only refers to the bone marrow that is present in the skeletal cavity, it also refers to the brain and spinal cord that's enclosed in the cranial and the spinal cavity. So in today's talk, I'll refer to the majja as the brain, and I'll focus on the one-on-one relationship between the majja, referred to as the CNS, the central nervous system or the brain, and skeletal system, referred to as the Asthi Now in Ayurveda, majja is predominantly the earth and the water elements. The earth makes up the structure of the nerves, while the water and earth element combine to form the myelin sheath that surrounds the nerves and facilitates nerve conductions. Now, age-associated degeneration in the skeletal system, the Asthi is associated with a reduction in bone mass. In addition, aging also brings with it changes in the brain that includes memory and cognitive losses. While these age-associated skeletal and brain changes were considered to be separate and independent events, recent studies from our lab and from other independent laboratories have clearly shown that age-associated degenerative changes in the skeletal system, the Asthi and age-associated memory and cognitive loss in the Majja may actually be related and interconnected. It appears that the bone and the brain communicate with each other, crosstalk with each other, and influence each other's growth and development. So, addressing factors that affect both brain and the bone health can improve outcomes for individuals with or at risk of osteoporosis or cognitive losses. Now, to understand the brain-bone nexus requires for us to understand the biogenesis of these tissues. So if you go to Ayurveda 101, dhatu formation in Ayurveda involves a linear organized sequence of tissue production, starting with the largest mass, the ahara rasa, and ending with the more subtle tissues like the majja and the shukra. Each preceding dhatu serves as the raw material for each succeeding dhatu, and this is a dynamic process that produces a stable tissue called the sthayi or posha dhatu, the unstable dhatu, which is the posaka or the asthayi dhatu, the secondary tissues, upadhatus, and the secondary byproducts, the dhatu mala or the kamala. Thus, it appears that each succeeding dhatu has some essential components from the preceding dhatus. So each preceding dhatu provides its essence to the succeeding dhatu. So as shown in this figure here, during the formation of the majja dhatu, the asthayi or the poshaka, that is the unstable, asti dhatu, the elemental qualities of earth and water, are metabolized in the majjadhara kala to give rise to the posya or the sthayi majja dhatu. Now, how does modern medicine describe the brain-skeletal system relation? Interestingly, the bone marrow contributes to the central nervous system cell lineage. Neurons and non-neuronal cells like the microglia are derived from bone marrow stem cells called the BMSAs. The bones shapes the neurons in the growing fetus. Now, it's very interesting that in the brains of female patients who receive bone marrow transplant from male donors, there are cells with neuron-specific markers together with the Y chromosome, suggesting that this progeny donor, that they are the progeny donor bone marrow cells. Furthermore, there's an endocrine hormone called the osteocalcin, which is produced by the bone. It crosses over to the brain. It regulates memory and mood and strengthens the brain by acting like a neuronal growth factor. Having low levels of osteocalcium results not only in bone loss, but also results in neurodegenerative diseases. Age-associated degenerative events in the brain and in the mind, which includes emotional issues and memory loss, and the skeletal system are all interconnected. Age-associated electrolyte imbalance that is seen in degenerating bones is also associated with a similar electrolyte imbalance in the brains of people with neurodegenerative conditions like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Age-associated loss of bone density, which we refer to as osteoporosis, is accompanied by inflammation. Similar inflammatory markers are also present in the brains of people with dementia. So together with the loss of bone marrow, which we call it as asthi-kshaya, there is a loss that is happening at the brain tissue as well. And so we refer to that as asthi-majja-kshaya. Now, the connection between the brain and the bone health, often referred to as the brain-bone nexus, highlights a fascinating area of research with significant implications for understanding and treating osteoporosis and dementia. Now, the brain is a highly privileged tissue, and thanks to the blood-brain barrier, it is not easy to target the brain directly. However, based on the classical text and supported by evidence-based research studies, it is now clear that the brain has close links with associated tissues, and in this case, the bone or the skeletal system. So any lifestyle intervention that focuses on diet, stress reduction, physical activity, mental health will help maintain bone density and prevent osteoporosis and simultaneously strengthen the brain and treat memory losses. Medications that modulate the neurotransmitter levels or sympathetic nervous system activity may offer new therapeutic avenues, not just for osteoporosis management, but for managing dementia as well. So it appears that management of bone, which is the asidhatu, through a diet, lifestyle, physical exercise, etc., is akin to management of the brain, the majja. So dietary management for Asti Majakshaya, the gut, Amashaya or Jatara, is home to nearly 100 million neurons that secrete hundreds of neurochemicals that regulate the fine balance between the gut and the brain. Additionally, the gut is a reservoir of beneficial bacteria, the microbiome that is essential for the bone, the brain, and the overall health. In addition to its beneficial effects on the bone and other systemic organs, the gut microbiome also influences brain structure and function. In Ayurveda, the microbiome is similar to Jataragni. Having an optimal Jataragni is paramount to optimal digestion, strong bones, and a healthy brain. Now, this can be achieved through ahara, good eating practices. Now, in the Vimanasthana of Charaka Samhita, there is a mention of 8 factors, ahara, vidhi, vishesa, ayatana, which determines the utility of the food, and ahara, parinama, karabhava, that is optimal transformation or digestion of the food. There's a mention of the dietetic rules, Upayoga Samstha, which remind us that you are what you eat, you are where you eat, you are when you eat, you are how you eat, and you are why you eat. So you are what you eat. We now know that high quality, unprocessed, organic, freshly prepared food with optimal servings of carbs, proteins, fats, veggies, fruits, and nuts is very good for both the brain and the bone. Eating with the seasons and eating what is locally grown is always recommended. When you eat, timing is extremely important. Time-based meals called chrononutrition helps not only to keep the digestive system in balance, it also helps to keep the brain and the bone strong and healthy and resilient. Now, chrononutrition provides evidence about why the digestive system is at its peak during midday. Chrononutrition also provides evidence about why frequent snacking not only affects the digestive system, it also has deleterious effects on the brain and the bone structure and function. Chrononutrition provides evidence about the immense benefits to the brain and the bone when you keep a minimum 3-hour gap between two eating events, when your night sleep is 3 hours after dinner, and when you keep a minimum of 12 hours gap between your night dinner and the following day morning breakfast. How you eat. Evidence-based medicine clearly shows that there are immense benefits to the brain and the bone when you pay attention, focus, and awareness to the food you're eating, when there's absolutely no external disturbance while you're eating, and when there's no discussions while you're eating. All right. According to the rules, meditation also helps in digesting the food properly, thereby strengthening the bone and the brain. So expressing gratitude before eating is extremely important. Chewing chewing the food to a minimum of 25 to 30 counts before swallowing is very good for bone strength and for brain resilience. Digestion of food happens first in the mouth. So what happens is when the food enters the mouth, the jaw muscles that position the food between the teeth for grinding and crushing. There are multiple neural circuits that connect the jaw muscles to the brain tissue, and information gets relayed between the bone and the brain, between the mouth and the brain as to how much force, momentum, and enzyme activity is required to chew the food. So people with very poor chewing habits tend to suffer from bone loss, all right, and cognitive failure later in life. Where you eat, evidence-based medicines clearly shows that there are immense benefits to the brain and the skeletal system when you eat in a peaceful setting with least disturbance and noise, because mindful eating requires 100% attention to what you're eating. Ayurveda also describes the powerful effects of abhyanga or massage and its effects on the bone and the brain. Subjects feel more calm, mental stress comes down, and there is improved blood flow. In Charaka Samhita, Charaka says, Susparso apchita angascha balavan priyadarshanaha bhavatya abhyanga nityatva annaro alpajara evacha. So regular external application of oil delays aging and produces a strong, charming, and intelligent being. Research studies now clearly show that oil massage improves cerebral blood flow, stimulates the release of numerous feel-good hormones and neurochemicals that not only bring down inflammation, but that also improves bone strength and brain resilience and delays the aging process. Charaka also says, Lagavam karma samarthyam stairyam dukkhasahi usnata dosha akshayo agni vruddhischa vyayayam adupe jayate. From physical exercise, one gets lightness in the body and the mind, a capacity to work and to be stable, enhanced, and ability to tolerate difficulties and impurities are removed, and the digestive functions properly. All right. So what it means is that exercise in any form, like walking, gardening, swimming, gym, goes a long way in strengthening and protecting all parts of the body, especially the bones and the brain. In general, aerobics, weight bearing, endurance exercise, resistance exercise, exercises for stability, and exercises that improve balance, strengthen the balance, all of these will strengthen the bones, the joints, and the vertebrae. Physical exercise stimulates the bone cells and restructures the bone fibers, resulting in more bone mass and improved bone stability, which is a benefit for both young and the old. Sleep. Sleeping too little interferes with bone development. According to research study, chronic sleep loss stops the development of bone cells and the soft, spongy marrow inside that is needed for bone flexibility. The general rule of thumb is that individuals who sleep and rest longer tend to have healthier bones than those who don't. Bone growth and repair are facilitated by a good night's sleep because sleep time provides the body ample time to self-repair and remodel. Chronic stress and depression, which impact brain function, can lead to increased production of stress hormones like cortisol. Elevated cortisol can negatively affect bone density by inhibiting bone formation and increasing resorption. So, stress management techniques like mindfulness and yoga serve as a power couple of good health, especially for the bone. Yoga actually offers a unique combination of physical movements and postures, a focus on controlling the breath and the meditation. This makes it a natural partner to mindfulness. It's especially very good for people with osteoporosis because it encourages better posture. It strengthens the muscles associated with flexibility and balance, thereby decreasing the chances of falling. It improves the range of motion and coordination. It increases bone density. It combines yoga and mindfulness to offer you the benefits of both. Now, this also promotes balance and coordination needed to avoid the falls, a huge concern for those with osteoporosis and for those who have very poor balance and stability. So to conclude, age-associated degenerative events in the brain and in the mind, that is emotional issues and memory loss, Majjadhatu, and the skeletal system, the Asadhatu, are all interconnected. Age-associated imbalances like electrolyte imbalance seen in the degenerating bones also mirrors similar electrolyte imbalance in the brains of people with dementia and other neurodegenerative conditions. Osteoporosis, loss of bone density, is accompanied by inflammation, and this inflammation or these inflammatory markers are also present in brains of people with dementia. Both cognitive decline and osteoporosis share risk factors such as aging and inflammation. So impaired cognitive function can lead to decreased mobility, increasing the risk of falls and fractures. Lifestyle interventions focusing on stress reduction, physical activity, and mental health can help maintain bone density and prevent osteoporosis.